will I be an entrepreneur and have my own successful business? That is today's question. Will this business be successful is also the question at the end of the day. Like, so this is for anybody who is like wanting to start a business but doesn't want to start it unless it's going to be successful, right? It's like, I'll take the risk, but only if I know it's going to be successful. The answer really is in your own knowing that like all the signs have led you to know that you're not supposed to work for anybody else. So it's kind of like, for example, for me, like I remember getting to a place where I was like unhireable, like unemployable at the end of the day. Like I couldn't work for anybody else. I would be like the worst employee. And that was just such an obvious sign that I was meant to exist in a world where I did my own thing, and that I was going to survive because that was my natural state. So this question that you're asking, like the answer I'm really getting is that like you need to know that freedom and working for yourself is your natural state. And believe it or not, it's not everybody's natural state. Like some people love to work for other people. Like some people love to work for big companies. Like that's exciting. And that is, they're gonna survive and exist in this world well because that's true to them. And that's like innate to them. But my feeling is that like, that there's something in you that is very clear that like you're not meant to work for other people, or that you're not meant to, share your talents with others or whatever, that you would actually like not survive. And when I say that, I'm talking about like, think about the wild, right? Like some animals are meant to survive in certain temperatures. So like if we brought an animal or even like a tree, let's say I'm living in a colder climate. I grew up in Miami and I am dying to like bring a mango tree here or something. And it's like, it's just not gonna work. Like a mango tree is not gonna survive where I'm living because there's seasons, right? And that's like a metaphor for what I'm trying to explain to you, is that you are a mango and you're trying to put yourself like in a place where it snows. So, I mean, maybe your tree, maybe your branches and kind of will hang out, but you're probably never going to give fruit. And if you're honest about the fact that you are a mango tree, then you're going to be okay with being like, I'm just meant to live in warm weather. Like I'm just meant to run my own business. Like I'm a mango tree. So this question is interesting because it's like, you're kind of asking, is it going to work? Is it that? But it's really an identity question. It's like, what am I? And really getting honest about who I am, what I am. And like, I'm somebody who's meant to work for myself. Like I am an entrepreneur. I am a creative. And there's a lot of people who are not that, but I am this. So when I own up to that, when I embrace that, then I really bloom, like then I'm really gonna give fruit, and my fruit is gonna be delicious and everybody's gonna wanna have my tree. But if I keep pretending that I'm not a mango tree and I plant myself somewhere where it snows, like I'm gonna look like this ugly, scary twig that nobody wants to be around, that I don't wanna be, that I'm frustrated with, and I won't thrive. So if you keep putting yourself in a situation where you're not working for yourself, you're not going to thrive as much as if you were to plant yourself in your natural habitat where you're meant to thrive. So the answer is like, yes, you will be successful, because as long as you stay true to your natural tendencies, to your natural self. Now, we can totally go and like run our own business and run it the way that we've been told, or maybe you come from a company and like, this is the way things were done, so you're trying to do it that way. Then yes, you're not going to do well because you're not being true to your innate nature. So remember that this is really about who you are and embracing who you are. So as you move into your own company, you also have to create that company in a way that is true to you. So for example, I've been running my own company for many years, and as time goes on, like there's things that I've learned, and it shifts, but I do a lot of one-on-one readings, but I've learned that I do them best in the afternoon, that the mornings are good for me to be creative and to write and create videos. If I would try to do it another way, it wouldn't work. If I kept myself to like certain schedules, it wouldn't work. If I tried to sell, because like that's what people have told me to do, it wouldn't work. Like there's other ways of me doing things, and that's why my business works, but it's because it's what's true to me, right? I hire people that, you know, that I love, that believe in the work. If I hired only for experience, it wouldn't work. So as long as the answer to your question, like, will I be an entrepreneur? Will I have a successful business? Is really yes, as long as you stay true to who you truly are, and as long as you truly embrace what you are, that you're a mango tree and that you need sun and warmth and space. And as you embrace your true self, and it's not just once, like you don't embrace your true self by saying, okay, I'm gonna leave this job and I'm gonna run my own company. Like, therefore I have embraced my true self. Like, embracing your true self takes waking up every day and embracing your true self, right? Embracing and standing up for and mothering yourself and being like, today, you know, I'm 6 months into my own business and I'm waking up and I feel that I'm not supposed to do this anymore, that I'm supposed to do that. Like, this is what is true for me. So making a decision what is true for you isn't just a one-time decision. You make that decision every day. And as you run your business being true to you, then you are successful. And you are successful, you thrive, you know, you prosper, you give fruit, as long as there's like truth to who you are. And in addition to that, I do feel that to find support, like to really feel supported in this, because there's another part of this question that kind of makes me feel like you're isolating yourself from what you hated, you know, like, oh, I hate how these people do business, or I hate these like coworkers, like I hate everything about like capitalism or how people make money, and I am like different than that. But there's a lot of people who, just like you, are mango trees, and there's a lot of other mango trees. So it does feel like, as you leave what you know you are not, to also know that you're not leaving because like you are the one and only thing that is not this. You are leaving because you've realized that you're not a horse, you're actually a zebra, you know, and there's a whole pack of zebras waiting for you. So it does feel that as you go into your own thing, to also look for your pack, to look for your community, to accept support and to receive help. I feel like even working like in a co-working space, or getting to know other entrepreneurs in your area, like all that is really gonna help you remember who you truly are. Like, I see you getting pieces of yourself and being like, oh, like this is who I am, by being around people who are also mango trees or zebras. You know, like you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that, like I didn't know this about zebras. I've been hanging out with horses all this time and I'm learning all these things about zebras. Like, that's who I am. So yeah, this is gonna be a really beautiful journey for you. Entrepreneurship is not easy, like anything. You know, running your own business is not easy or anything like that. But when things are true for us, it's not that it's easier, but there's just so many, it flows more, there's more signs. And we can manifest anything, but manifesting what is in your soul's contract and what is true for you is when we thrive the most. So just because this is the path for you doesn't mean it's going to be easy, because I don't want you to be disappointed when things are difficult, right? You got to have that grit and the resilience to move forward, to learn about yourself, because this is really a process of learning who you truly are. So you're not going to know everything because you haven't been yourself for a long time. So you're going to be learning about yourself, and learning about ourselves is difficult because we have to let go of old ways, we have to learn new ways, we have to embrace new ways, all that stuff. So it's not going to be like, you know, easy peasy, smooth sailing, but it's going to be where you thrive and where you grow and where you give fruit. If that was helpful and supportive for you, I would love to hear about it in the comments. What's going on? Are you thinking about your own business? Are you worried? Tell me. I love it. I love to hear it. I love to hear how these messages resonate with you guys. So thanks.